Well, hi friends, welcome to NC Family's weekly update. I'm NC Family President John Rustin, and I'm joined by Jerry Royal and Sharon Sullivan, two faces that are becoming, should be familiar to you from the last several weeks of our weekly updates. So let's just jump right in, guys. The big mover in the General Assembly this week was Medicaid expansion. This has been an issue of contention between the State House and the State Senate in recent years. But the legislative leadership has finally seemed to come to terms and to come to some path forward in an agreement on what that's going to look like. So the House passed one version of the Medicaid expansion bill in mid-February. And this week, the Senate adopted an alternative version of that bill and actually ran it through three different committees. So we are anticipating that that bill is going to be up on the Senate floor as early as Monday. And then it will have to return to the House for consideration with the changes that were made in the Senate before the bill is then sent to the governor for his veto or non-veto or signing the bill, whatever. It sounds like the governor is favorable towards this, but time will tell on that. So Sharon, you are as a registered nurse, or kind of our in-house medical expert. I know we've been digging into this bill a bit to try to understand it, the scope of it, but also to look at some pretty specific issues of potential concern. When we're looking at legislation, we always or often are looking at potential unintended consequences that could result from even the most well-meaning legislation. So tell us a little bit about what you've been digging into.
Right. Well, first we want to make sure that the bill does not expand access to or funding for abortions or so-called gender-affirming treatments for people that are suffering with gender dysphoria. So that's the first thing that we've been researching and trying to dig into, just to make sure. It's our understanding that under the current statutes, abortions in North Carolina are not covered by Medicaid dollars, but we want to be absolutely certain. So we're looking for that. Our research and knowledge tells us that North Carolina has not passed any legislation to date expressly restricting Medicaid funding for so-called gender-affirming treatments. So theoretically, the Medicaid dollars could potentially go to those kinds of treatments, but we're going to check and make sure, stay on top of it, and let everybody know what we're finding. So
what when you talk about treatments, what are you specifically talking about there?
Well, we would be talking about puberty blockers, sex hormones, cross-sex hormones, sterilization, and sex reassignment surgery.
Okay, yep.
And on a side note, North Carolina House members did introduce a bill this session that makes it a crime for medical professionals to do these kinds of treatments on minors, but it hasn't moved yet. But it is out there. We'll be watching that as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for digging into that. These are things that we're seeing all across the country, and Medicaid is such a huge program, both on the national scene and also on the state level. So we do want to make sure that the bill, as well-meaning as it may be, does not carry some of these very significant unintended consequences. So thanks for digging into that.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that. Jerry, of course, the last several weeks we've been talking about the legalization of marijuana in North Carolina. A bill last week passed the state Senate and has been sent to the state House. So give us a quick update on what's happening with that.
Yeah. The House has not brought the bill up for consideration yet in any of the committees. We have sent information to the members about this, which we've shared before with you all, about the clear and really very persuasive medical evidence saying this should not be legalized for medicine in North Carolina. We've also started meeting with the members and thankfully have found from some people who were undecided or who had even been in favor that they just hadn't known the information and the truth about it and have moved in their position. And that's where it's encouraging for us, and we want to encourage you to continue to do what you're doing now, to hear the information and to share it with your members of the North Carolina House to help them understand what the right and best decision is on this bill.
Yeah,
Right.
Thank you, Jerry. And I think a lot of the response that you're getting is not only your persuasive and compelling
exactly.
arguments, which are very persuasive and compelling, but also the fact that the members of the state house have not really dealt with this issue directly. A medical marijuana bill passed the Senate last session, but was never brought up in the House. So for some members, not only the members who are new, but those who really haven't grappled with this issue, they're just not aware of the factual basis in a lot of the research that you in particular have done and provided. So thanks for that. And definitely, as Jerry said, if you haven't contacted your House members about this, go to the Action Center on our website. You can do that very easily there. Just a couple other quick tidbits from the week. We heard Wednesday that Senator Phil Berger, the President Pro Tem of the Senate, and Speaker Tim Moore, the Speaker of the House, had reached an agreement on the overall target figure for the upcoming budget bill. The current state budget is $27.9 billion with the B. This new budget target is like a 6.5% increase. So it would take the budget for the upcoming fiscal year, the 2023-2024 fiscal year, to very close to $30 billion. That's a lot of money, and that's quite a sizable increase, but we understand that the budget plan is likely to also include continued decreases in the personal and corporate income taxes. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting process. The fact that they've got a target figure this early suggests that they might actually have an opportunity to get the budget passed before July 1st, the beginning of the state's fiscal year. So we will see. Also, lawmakers have yet to decide what direction they're going to go in on the pro-life front, either a Heartbeat Act or a 12-week bill. And we're still waiting for a sports gambling bill to be introduced in the North Carolina House. It has not dropped yet. So we are expecting some movement on both of those very important issues very soon, possibly this next week. So be sure to keep your eyes and ears open for emails and updates from NC Family throughout next week. And again, if you haven't contacted your legislators yet about these very important issues, you can do so on the Action Center, which is linked to under this video. Go there and reach out and let your legislators know where you stand on these very important issues. So folks, anything else for this week?
I think that's it. Again, thank you all for listening and for working together with us. We really appreciate it.
Yes, and please reach out to your members if you haven't already. It really does help us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for your time and attention. And we will see you next Friday for NC Family's weekly update. God bless you.